I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by my co-host with Harrison Bader like hair,
Yeah, it's a weird ordeal. Katie is just proving to be childish.
which is why I don't feel I would give $5 million to Jack Campbell.
I don't know. Baseball is one of those sports where anyone who makes the playoffs really can be a contender.
I think the Padres definitely do it.
I don't think Donovan Mitchell gets traded.
Kyrie Irving does have the track record of not being a great locker room fit, or even good locker room fit.
Bader got some luscious locks. I gotta say it.
This is Zach Bigley, the broadcaster for the Frisco Rough Riders, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin. You guys better subscribe.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. This is titled The Fourth Down Dilemma. And you know, I sent this man a text, but here we go, Austin.
Yeah. Let's just start out with what you sent me. What was the circumstance? What was the situation? It was on the game that was 2 nights ago as this gets posted, but last night as we record this. Kind of take me through it.
Yeah, so it's been a while since I sent you a text, but we always had the fourth down dilemma. And it was Cowboys were up 38-35. It's 4th and 3. They had a questionable third down call, very questionable. And this is to win it. And I'm like, a field goal doesn't really do much here because if Seattle scores a touchdown,
They're winning.
yeah, they're winning. A PAT wins it. So I'm like, I'm going for it. The guy I'm listening to is like, no, you take the point. The guy I'm watching it. And he's like, no, you take the points. I'm like, no, be aggressive. Go for it here. And, you know, I sent my brother a text too, and he's like, I'm like, dude, am I crazy? And he's like, he texted me back later. He's like, yeah, you are nuts for doing that. I'm like, well, it worked out.
You texted me as well. And
Yeah,
I
I texted you as well.
I said we should go for, or you should go for, the Cowboys should go for it. And they ended up getting it, didn't going for it, and it worked out. They ended up kicking a PAT, and their defense held strong. But that was too much of an offensive game for me to be confident. I think, was there a minute 32, something like that left?
There was plenty of time. And that, I think, goes into the third down call. Yeah. And, yeah, I had sent you the text, and I was, like, asking other people. I'm like,
Did you think before you texted me that I was going to agree with you?
I thought you were going to disagree with me and go like, no, you are crazy. Because because there have been points where I think it was the Super Bowl where I called out Nick Sirianni.
I don't think he should have gone on that one. But
I don't even remember that, but I was like, I would go for it. And I think it's just I feel like because I was very conservative, and there are moments where I'll be more conservative play calling. But I also think if I can go aggressive, and like the offense is what won the Cowboys that game. Their defense was terrible.
There was a similar circumstance in the Bills versus Titan game, I think 2 years ago. And we had this conversation. This was the same situation, sort of. They were on like their 20. The Bills were on the Titans 20.
Mm-hmm.
They were up 3 or up 2. They were up enough to where if they kick a field goal, they'd be up by less than a full touchdown, but enough where you had to score a touchdown. So it wouldn't be like they were up 7. They would have been up 6, 5, 4, one of those 3 numbers. I don't remember which. Enough to where if the Titans went down and scored a touchdown, they'd be winning the game. It was a 4th and 2. Instead of like being on, what were they on, like the 12, the Cowboys? Or what were they?
Yeah, the Cowboys were like I think if they gotten first down, it'd be a 1st and goal.
Yeah, something like that. They were like on the 12, 13, 10, 11, I don't remember. But this Bills game, 17, 20, even 30 or something like that. And they said, no, we're going to go for it. And they ran a run play for Josh Allen, and he got it. And this was a big disagreement we have. I think it was 2 years ago. And you were like, no, I would never have gone for it. And I was like, that's when you go for it. That's when you go for it. And I have 2 situations to where I say go for it on 4th down, that situation. 2. It's done every time. But if the game is extremely offensive, go for it for 2 reasons. 1, your offense has been clicking all game. There's a good chance you get it if you call a good play. This defense can't hold you. 2, the second reason, your defense has been horrible, and there's no guarantee that you hold them for less than a touchdown. So those are my 2 criteria for why you should go for it on offense. If it's a defensive game, you also go for it. If the game is 10-7, go for it. Why? Well, this is the offensive play. This is it. You need that one offensive play to win you the game. This is it. Let's go for it. Also, if you don't get it, there's a good chance they don't even score a field goal because of how good your defense has been. So, but if it's like it's been a crazy game and like the offense has thrown a lot of picks, but the defense has played kind of poor in some areas, that's when I don't know, because you don't really need the big play, but your offense has been making mistakes, and there could be a mistake here. I don't know. It depends on a lot of things, but like I said, if it's a very defensive game, 10-7, I go for it. But if it's also 38-35, you go for it because your offense has been so good throughout the entire game. Especially, they went for it on fourth down that one time with CD, and he dropped it.
Yeah,
But that was not because of the bad play call or good defense. That was just a drop. And CD makes that play 100 times out of 101. Like, he makes that play almost every time. Like,
almost all the time, yeah.
Call that same play, and CD doesn't drop it again. If that same situation happens again, CD does not drop it. I know he doesn't.
Yeah, and it may have been because the play call, the third down play call. I know we're talking about the fourth down. I'll get into my decision now, but like I would have run it, and then like if it's 4th and 1, I'm doing QB sneak. I think Dak is finally getting back to the Dak I love, even though I'm still not loving him yet. He's running more, he's using his feet more, and that's when I think he's that dynamic quarterback. But to me, in that scenario, there's so much time left, like a minute, like. And if you look at the second, like before the second half, at the end of the first half, the Seahawks like drove down pretty easily and got a touchdown.
Yes. Well, I think they had a minute left, right?
They had a minute left, and the Cowboys' defense was awful. I was pretty upset about that. I was kind of in doomsday Cowboys mode. Dude, it's a dumb team. I still don't believe in them. But they got to win, so it doesn't matter. But to me, I'm going to do, okay, is this play going to end the game? And in my opinion, you get a first down, you end the game. It's over.
Yeah.
And because then you can't do anything because the Seahawks were out of the timeouts.
Yes.
Too. So, and I'm just thinking, worst case scenario, they score a touchdown, they win. And like, okay, if they kick a field goal, they get, it goes into overtime. But I was just like, yeah.
It's just, I think the Cowboys, I think a lot of the teams need to realize this, why you need to go for it on those fourth downs. The offenses are getting so good that, like, you can't give them a chance. It's like the whole, I know there wasn't a situation like this in the Bills versus Chiefs game, AFC divisional round in 2021, but this is, like, there's just so little time you need to score points if the offense is elite. So you have to take those chances. You have to, especially like you said, if you get a first down, you win the game. Or if you even score a touchdown on the play, like if the only first down possible is in the end zone, you score a touchdown, you're up by 10. Like, it's just such a, like, they would have to score a touchdown or score a field goal in an onside kick. And you just have to give yourself that chance. And going for it, there's what is the calls that win you games, that win you playoff games, that win Super Bowls. And I'm just very pro going for it in those type of circumstances.
And I think it also shows a confidence in yourself and kind of to the team. Like I would also go if like I'm a lose if I'm. I think Bob Stern wrote about this with Washington. Like Ron Rivera should have gone for it more, or there was one point where, or if you're facing a tough team, like if you're facing the Chiefs and their offense, and it's an early game, or it's early in the game, and it's a close fourth down, go for it because you're showing, hey, we're not scared of you. We're going to win this. Like. If you want to talk about a gutsy play, how about this season when Dan Campbell called a fake punt on his own? I think it was on his own side of the ball. He called a fake punt in that Chiefs game.
Yeah.
And
got it.
So they can also lose you games, but I think you just kind of got to go on willing to take this risk.
Yeah. Especially in games that I'm not going to say you shouldn't win, but in games that are very tight, there are games that are also high stakes. And another very important thing you have to consider is like people always say, oh, if you go for it, you're showing that you don't trust your defense because you're trying to score so that you don't have to put. No. If you don't get it, you have to trust your defense that they're going to make that stop. You're showing faith in your offense, hey, we can get the first, but you're also showing faith in your defense, hey, if we don't get this, you got us. You got us. We believe in you. And that faith is something you need to have as a coach. Coaches don't play, but that's how they impact the game, is making those play calls. And also putting your team in the best situation of winning, and getting that first down was easily the best situation possible.
Yeah. It did work out, but yeah, and to coaches, like, I think you have to give off that vibe of confidence. I think a coach is a vibe guy. You also need, like, you can't just be a vibe guy, but a lot of it is, okay, this is a decision I'm going to make. I'm going to live with it no matter what. And it worked out for the Cowboys, thankfully. But yeah, it had been a while since I texted you, because I remember we got into the debate and I was texting you, okay, go for it here. Then we talk about it. So I'm glad we got to talk about it. And I'm curious if now I'm more aggressive, because I was aggressive with Nick Sirianni. And I just think if it's like 3 is probably, I'm like, 3 is where I was curious, because it was only 3 yards. Well, it was 3 yards, which is a lot bigger. But if it's 2 or 1 yard, to me, I think you go for it, especially 4th and 1. Like the Eagles do it all the time because they know they're going to get it.
Yeah. I don't know if are you saying that you may be more aggressive than me, is what you're saying?
Yes, I'm curious. So hopefully I'll text you whenever there's a big moment.
Yeah.
Or you text me.
We'll have to, either or. We'll have to revisit it for that to be fully looked into.
But that's why I was like, okay, I got to ask Austin. And I was like, all right, what do other people think? Because I was like, is Austin going to disagree with me and everyone else is going to disagree with me? That might be like, oh, dang. But it's interesting. And of course there's analytics, but I don't know how. There are some analytic guys that don't really follow it. But yeah, that's all I got. Austin, I'll let you close this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Would you have gone for it on 4th down? When do you go on it? Because it really is a tough question that you have to ask. And like Kevin said earlier, it really can determine, it can win you or lose you games. Thank you guys for listening, and please catch us in our next video.